started.
All right, Sazpak from the U.S. plays d4. Let's just play d5. Should play knight f6. Okay, but we'll get a Slav here. Try to alternate my openings, so. Okay, I haven't played the Winawer gambit. This move, knight c3, allows the Winawer gambit. That's always entertaining. Yeah, the idea with the gambit is white takes and black pushes, dislodging the knight here, and then the check with the queen will pick up the pawn. So it's not doesn't actually lose the pawn, and it leads to interesting stuff. But here, I should probably just take here. So I was thinking he would take back with the pawn, but I guess he could take back with the queen. And either way, I'm going to play knight to f6 to support the d-pawn. And I could throw in dc at some point, which would be a way of creating an isolated pawn, but white is not allowing that. So what are we playing here then? Well, I could pin either knight. Maybe it's a little more interesting to pin this knight. But he can break the pin pretty easily with bishop d2, so didn't do a whole lot. But this bishop is safe here as long as it's guarded by the knight. I don't have to worry about a discovery, or do I? I guess I do. Knight takes knight. I can't take back with a pawn. I have to play bishop takes bishop, but then I can take back. Okay, so let's just castle. Maybe I can get some pressure on the e-file here. Get my rook first to the e-file. Yeah, if he doesn't take my knight, we end up with this isolated queen's pawn position anyway. So if he castles, I could play queen e7, threatening to take the knight and then win the bishop. However, after queen e7, he just has to play rook e8, which is rook e1, which is a pretty natural move anyway, so would not accomplish much. So let's develop the other bishop. And then the knight. The knight probably has to go to d7, so I wanted to get the bishop out first. And I didn't see any point in putting the bishop on g4 there, where it's just would be in the line of this battery. So yeah, now white is starting to put pressure on the center here. So I think I will take this knight and see which way he takes back. Okay, with the bishop. So let's go ahead and get rid of this bishop and give him this pawn structure with the pawns on c3 and d4. Now, do I have time to develop my knight? He can bring his knight to... no, he can't. He can't even play knight g4. I was going to say I might want to play bishop to g6 there, so that knight g5 is not a threat, but he can't play that anyway. So let's develop the knight. This is a loose pawn here on b7. Yeah, so that's interesting. That's a double attack, isn't it? Always got to watch out for these things. So he's threatening to take here, and he's threatening to take on b7. That a good move. Good move. Okay. I probably should defend here. The bishop takes there, wins at least a pawn in the exchange. Whereas the queen taking here only wins a pawn or maybe two, because this pawn is a bit loose as well. Right, rook's defended, pawn's defended. This is loose. I could play c5, see if I can bust up these pawns, maybe create a weakness on his side. He doesn't have to take, he can ignore that or maybe even push. But then I can play something like knight b6, hitting the bishop. Maybe get a little something. My bishop on g6 controls the b1 square, so he can't make a battery on the b file, which is good. Still thinking, yeah. Takes, push, ignore. If he ignores, I'll probably take and then maybe get my rook to c8, hitting the bishop. Defends that way. He wants to get a pin on the knight. Yeah, I don't want to allow that. So knight b6. Pawn takes pawn is a double attack on my queen and the knight, so I can't play that. Also, I can't move the queen just anywhere because the knight needs defense. Could play knight f6. Pawn takes pawn, and then move the queen somewhere, maybe queen to a5, double attacking the isolated pawns. Gets my knight out of a somewhat awkward position and gives me some prospects with knight to e4. So I think that's the better way to play, even though it does allow this discovered attack on the queen. So queen to a5 was my plan, double attacking his isolated pawns. And the bishop is still holding on to the f7 square. I guess if I were white, I would be thinking about moves like knight. Yeah, knight can't go there. Knight to h4, hitting my bishop, is interesting because after the bishop is gone, this pawn on f7 is no longer defended. So knight h4, queen takes c5, and if he takes the bishop, I'll take his bishop instead of retaking. So after queen takes c5, he should move his bishop, and then I need to I need to defend f7 somehow. Maybe chase the queen first. Okay, well that's another way to do it. Just getting the queen out of trouble. Gonna grab on c5 and then play rook to rook c8, putting pressure on the bishop. So again, if he plays knight h4, rook c8, knight takes bishop, queen takes bishop. Aha. He wants to trade queens. He's hitting the rook, but he's released the pressure on f7 a bit. Maybe I could round up another pawn here and get back to material equality. This C3 pawn can be attacked by the queen here, and then rook to C8 again. Yeah, that'll do it too. That will defend. Okay, but rook C8 is an active move anyway. My rook's on open files. And let's see, the knight. Knight could come to E4, hitting the pawn. If he plays pawn to C4, it just blocks his bishop, so it's not so great. Knight E4, pawn to C4, knight to C3 forks the rook and the queen. So that's an idea here. Queen, once again offering the queen trade. No, I don't want to trade queens. Why would I trade queens when I'm down a pawn? That also defended C3 and got the queen away from that fork idea of knight C3. I can still play knight to E4, attacking the pawn. Let's think for a second. Is there something better? I mean, I can trade. Takes with the rook. It's probably okay for him. Knight here. Maybe I can get some pressure on his F2 square. I'm not really attacking C3, I don't think, because it's a little too precarious. For example, knight takes, rook here, check, rook takes, and then queen takes knight. So even though there's apparently two attackers on there, it's a little too dangerous to actually take it there. Maybe, but he moved it forward anyway, blocking his bishop. So yeah, so my idea was, well, I still can't play knight to yeah, I can't really play knight to C5 there, because again, taking the rook with check. Let's see if I can get around to attack F7 somehow. Maybe queen B2, F2. Okay, he's come up with another way to reduce material, but the bishop is loose. So that means I can move this knight with tempo. So knight takes F2, king takes, I take the bishop. Knight takes F2, bishop takes bishop, knight takes rook. Knight takes F2, rook takes rook check, rook takes rook. Then bishop takes bishop, and knight takes rook. I think I come out ahead in all variations. So it's this danger of a loose piece. Sets you up for a tactic. Okay, what's going on here? So king takes, bishop takes, or rook takes are the three moves I thought of when I was thinking about the move ahead of time. If he just moves the rook away to defend the bishop, then I can trade bishops and then retreat my knight. Yeah, it just leaves me a pawn up. Probably the best, just defend the bishop with the rook, so this rook is no longer hanging. or under attack from the knight. And I could try rook takes first, but he can take with the queen or the knight. Okay, yeah, he went for bishop takes, so I take the rook. Now he can sacrifice the bishop for a pawn by taking on either f7 or h7.
Check.
And then he can grab the rook, grab the knight, I mean. That just leaves me exchange up for a pawn. And I can actually take this pawn. Let's see, is there something better? Is there a... no, I don't see it. Let's just go there. That's pretty good. My queen is protecting these pawns on the second rank. His rook can't get to the second rank there because it's not coordinated with his queen. Ah, so his queen, yeah, moved to a good square. So let's get my rook to the second rank to put a stop to the idea of rook and d7. The knight can come in and attack my queen from here or here. Yeah. And if I take it, he has a check. So I should just move my queen away, right? I have to stay in touch with the rook because the rook is under attack from his queen. If rook d7 again, rook takes, knight takes, it's still okay. And I can threaten checkmate here if the knight moves. Or if the rook and the knight move, I have a checkmate threat here. I guess no, queen f1 defends. Queen e1 would be checkmate, except he has queen f1 to block.
Check.
That's good. So the knight can come in here and check after I move the king to h8, but the queen and the rook together can second rank is defended, so I can take the knight. Okay, now he can take there. He can move to either of those squares with check.
Check.
So I need to get my queen out of dodge. Okay, so now I think I can just take that knight because queen here check, rook to d1. But there's a problem. No. Rook takes, queen here is mate. So rook takes, queen here check, rook here defends. So that's rook takes e5. He can't take because check. I really have a mate threat, and if he tries to check first, I can take, I can defend or block with my rook, which is defended by my queen. So that should be game over. I can pick up my rook. Look at that. He's just going to lose
White
on time.
Forfeits on time.
That doesn't. That loses anyway because of queen takes, rook takes, and check.
Check.
I mate first, so that wins. Okay. Interesting game. I will do a postmortem as usual. See you guys later. Bye.